All right, everybody. Shalom and welcome. Yishai Fleischer here, joined by my beloved Malkah Fleischer.
Hey, guys. Good to be back. Yishai, good to have you back.
Yeah, I'm not like totally back. I'm post-surgery. I'm still working it out. I had a lot of days of weakness, but today I'm a little bit back, and I just wanted to get on the air with you, Malkah, and to do our video cast and podcast and just to, give people a sign of life from Israel. Israel's full of life.
That's right, 100%.
Israel's full of life. Even in this challenging period, there's just so much effort to try to live. I have a few videos here of some of the kind of the life energy that's out there. You want to see some life energy videos? All right, first thing, let's take a look at Beitar Yerushalayim. Beitar Yerushalayim is a big soccer team out of Jerusalem. They're a little bit more rowdy. Okay, they're known for their rowdiness.
For their spirit.
For their spirit, that's right. Yes. See, Malkah. Here's them getting the crowd going with one of Israel's most popular songs, which is "It's Going to Be Good."
It's going to be even better, even better.
Hashem is going to make it even. God is going to make it even better. Let's take a look. This is so important because we're dealing with so many issues out there, Malkah. There's so many pains. In fact, in the last few days, quite a few soldiers have fallen.
That's right.
And our spirit falls from these things. And, there's so much courage and bravery out there, but we really do lose people.
Right. Speaking of losing people, I just want to say, Yishai, that I didn't know that you were going to start the show talking about the life energy. One of the news stories that I read, al haboker, on the morning. One of the things that I read first thing in the morning was that births were up this year 10% from last year.
Wow.
10% from last year in a war. And so this is just another example of Jewish women proving that the Jewish people are unstoppable. When you come at us with rockets, we come at you with diapers.
That is a great line, Malkah. Did you just come up with it?
I wrote a tweet about it also.
Oh, that's strong. Yeah. Okay, Malkah's Twitter is very strong.
Yeah.
Check it out. Malkah, here's a father who of one of the two people who were killed on October the 7th. And here's his Spirit of Israel.
שמי ירוחם יורם ריבלין, ואני אבא של אביעד שר שלום וגדעון הראל, השם ייקום דמם, שנרצחו ב7 באוקטובר. יש הרבה דרכים להנציח ושאנחנו פועלים להנציח, אבל אחד החזקות ביותר והחשובות לנו ביותר זה היה לכתוב ספר תורה לעילוי נשמתם. ללא העזרה והגיוס ההמוני לא היינו מגיעים לרשום לכתוב ספר תורה. וחשוב לנו מאוד שהכנסת הספר התורה תהיה מכובדת. אין דבר שישמח אותנו ביותר מלרקוד עם ספר תורה ולהראות שעם ישראל חי. תודה לכל העוזרים בדבר ושנזכה לביאת משיח צדקנו במהרה בימינו, אמן.
Amen.
Okay, this guy lost two sons, and all he wants now is that their memory be honored through new Sefer Torahs that will be brought in, and that nothing will make us happier. Look at that life energy with so many challenges, with so much hate against us, out there, with so much a war against us. The Jewish nation continues through, as we saw, those soccer fans singing about God and saying it'll only be better. And this father who says, all I want is Torah. That gives me strength as well. Malkah, I want to tell you, it's not been easy for me personally because I'm post-surgery and I feel already it's been almost 3 weeks and feel very weak. And this is such a time where everybody's fighting. My friends are on the front lines. So it's challenging. It's really challenging in that sense. But don't let this amiable countenance fool you. I basically spent the whole morning sleeping. And so it's challenging, but with those videos that we just saw gives you a sense of life force.
Right. I just want to say, Yishai, don't worry about it. The tank is in the shop. You're just like a war tank, and you're just getting some new tracks and getting some new motor oil. You're the Tin Man, Yeah. It's pretty soon you're going to be all ready for the battlefield once again.
Speaking of the battlefield, so we talked about Torah, and we talked about that'll be even better. Here's a Sefer Torah coming into a base in Syria. Check this out.
הכנסת ספר תורה בתוך סוריה, מוצב הפלחן, ספר תורה נכנס למתחם. חבר'ה, יאמין מיילה ממלך, תוסיף אותה בכל דור ודור. יאמין מיילה ממלך, תוסיף אותה בכל דור ודור. יאמין מיילה.
Okay,
So
so
cool.
right, so that's an Assyrian base,
Incredible.
and that Sefer Torah is going into that Syrian base. That's awesome.
You know, Yishai, I don't know if you know, but the future of Syria is very much up in the air, as everybody here probably knows who watches the show. But just in case you woke up today to interest in the Middle East and what's going on in Israel, Israel had a big fight with Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Hezbollah is very powerful in Lebanon and in Syria, and so is Iran. Iran's very powerful, and once Israel did a pretty good job crushing Hezbollah in Lebanon and weakening Iran, then that really left a vacuum in Syria, and rebels came in, whoosh, and they overtook the Assad regime and took it down to Chinatown. Now it is something we're trying to figure out, basically.
You mean what's going to be with Syria? What's the future?
What's going to be with Syria? Right.
Yeah.
It's a big question mark. What's
Right.
going to be with Syria?
That's right.
And Israel, I'm happy to report, is trying to have some initiative on this matter. Whether it has good initiative or weak initiative remains to be seen, but it is trying to jog a discussion about it. You know, one of the solutions could just be that this rebel regime, whatever that is, takes over and creates a new Syria that looks kind of like the old Syria. Another option, though, is to break down Syria into parts, because there are different ethnic groups in Syria, some of whom have been trying to create states for themselves for some time, and there's been infighting and all this.
Right. You have the Alawites, you have the Kurds,
Right.
You have the Sunnis, you have the kind of Shiite type of minority, and you also have the Druze. So you have all kinds of folks that are out there.
Right.
I think the Alawites are close to being Shiite, but in any case, you have a lot of these groups. They've been fighting for centuries.
Right. So Israel is considering, the government of the state of Israel is considering
Right.
having,
And there's the Israeli zone.
right. There's the Israeli zone.
defensive
As
zone.
you can see in the video that you just saw, we are currently in the process of bringing things into Syria. It does not seem that we are in the process of taking stuff out, taking our equipment and our people out of there. We're bringing stuff into there. That means that maybe we have a little bit more of a future in that space. And so Israel is trying to create an environment of discussion.
We're so embarrassed about saying that Israel should get bigger. It's like it could become completely taboo
Right.
to say that, like, we should hold on to pieces of land. They're not yours. Well, whose are they exactly? You know, whose is Gaza? It's certainly not Palestinian, which is an invented identity of the last 100 years. What's Syria exactly? Is it Assad Syria?
Right.
Does it belong to the people of Syria? Maybe it belongs to Israel as a defender of the area. Maybe it belongs to Israel because we need it for our security.
Right. Or maybe there is no Syria, as
Right.
is the discussion that's being had. Maybe there is no such thing as this particular boundary that has to be called Syria. Maybe it's Syria, maybe it's partially northern Israel, maybe it's Kurdistan, maybe it's lots of stuff.
Right.
So they're discussing.
And it's important right now, especially with the incoming American administration, to have a certain fluidity, to have a certain flexibility.
Right.
In ways of thinking. We got to think big. We got to think for the.
Speaking of thinking big, I want to extend my personal thanks to one very special man. His name is upcoming and former President of the United States, Donald Trump, who makes Jewish sovereignty happening in Judea and Samaria look like the most normal, average conversation that you could possibly have. I just love that he's talking about Greenland and the Gulf of America. And, you know, I don't know what will happen with the future of these things. I'm not, to be honest, as invested in that part of the world as I am in this part of the world. But I will say that I do appreciate his creative thinking. He doesn't feel limited to whatever is today.
That's right.
He's ready for flexibility, creative thinking. I don't think that he's in the business of invading countries or anything like that, but it's more like a a discussion, a negotiation, and a consideration. Do you guys want to be part of what we got going on over here in the United States? Yes. Then there's what to talk about.
And that the world order could change for the better.
Right.
And so here in our region, Malkah, there's
Right.
a question of the future of Gaza,
Right.
question of the future of South Lebanon and,
Yes.
and parts of Syria,
Question about Judea.
question about Judea and Samaria.
Yes.
And I'm putting it out there right now that in the near future, the question of the Sinai is going to come back. The question of the Sinai is going to come back. And it's not a coincidence that Jimmy Carter waited all this time to die, because he was the initiator of the Sinai giveaway to Egypt. And we had already secured it 3 times in various wars. But I foresee that the question of Sinai is going to be up soon.
Okay. Well, everyone will have to pin this video and keep it in your archives and look back to it in a while and see if Yishai was right.
Okay, Malkah, I want you to put on this headphone for a
Okay.
second, okay? And let's listen to this next section about football players that came to Israel to give support to the families of the hostages. Let's take a
Wow.
look.
Now to the Middle East, where the Israel-Hamas war rages on into the new year. More than 45,000 Palestinians have been killed and more than 106,000 hurt in the war in Gaza. Hamas terrorists are believed to still have around 100 Israeli hostages, many of whom were captured at a music festival back on October 7th of 2023. That attack prompted the ongoing war, and ceasefire negotiations are still seemingly far from breaking through.
And there is a mission test to fight racism, anti-Semitism, and intolerance around the world, including places like Israel. Professional athletes from the NFL to the NBA to Olympic medalists are all doing their part to try to make it a better world. It's a project called Project Max. And so joining us, former NFL Chiefs kicker Nick Lowry just got back from Israel, where you were there. You spoke to so many people and so many officials. You know, it's hard to fathom what people and families are going through. You know, we read these stories, but it's a world away. What was it like for you to see all that up close, to talk to people?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, because it's such a complex and controversial subject. And notwithstanding the suffering in Palestine, for those that think that they know what's going on in Israel, you really can't understand it until you go there. And I'm honored to be one of the beginning members of Project Max, founded by Eric Rubin. And I took Tony Richardson, fellow Chiefs Hall of Famer, there. We met with the president, we met with the head of what's called the Knesset. But I will tell you, it started with my mother in World War II, being asked to document the death camps because she spoke fluent German. And so it's in my DNA to see the suffering that happened with the Jews, obviously. The videos you're seeing, those are hostages. That's Naama Levy. I've done profiles on her, asking her, that's her father and her brother Amit, her father Yoni. And you can see Tony Richardson on the other side. This is the music festival that Tess just mentioned. There were 367 people murdered, but now there are reports that up to 50 people that were part of that survived have committed suicide since then. So the level of trauma is extraordinary. And just to understand that our dedication is to end racism and to use the profile of sports to transcend these divisions. So right there, that's Omir Ohana, who's the Speaker of the Knesset. And they're excited because people in Israel really feel isolated, really feel like no one knows what's really going on. So we felt honored to see what's really going on. This is what's called Kfar Aza, which was the kibbutz where many, many people were murdered. And that right there is the location for the youngest members of the kibbutz. They were all, virtually all, brutally murdered, wiped out. The things that were done to them are unspeakable. And so in the end, when we don't value the dignity of all human life, we take a step backwards as human beings.
We know some children were killed on a, I believe, a soccer field over there.
Yes.
You got to speak to some of their parents.
Drew's
Yes.
children.
That must have been really difficult.
Well, and the other thing is, those are children of an Arab community called Majd al-Shams, and they were playing soccer, 10 and 11 years old. A couple girls that were basketball players watching, 39 that were wounded, but 12 that were killed. And when I walked up, if they had the video or the picture of those pictures of the ones that were killed, you can't imagine as a parent
I'm
anything
sure.
worse. And to see that no one has reached out to them, we felt an obligation. We felt honored to tell their stories, and that's our goal. We're going to go back in 6-7 months, tell their stories, honor them. Those are Arabs that living in Israel, and to understand that Arabs in Israel are living full citizenship.
All right. Well, Nick, thank you for the insight.
Thank you.
What you experienced. We will take a quick break here with more.
All right. So, Malkah, what'd you think of that, the video?
Sweet, beautiful. It's beautiful that these sports, these athletes came to show support and to learn and to reach out. Beautiful.
Okay, so I hear that. I hear I hear that you were touched by that video. I myself get a little bit annoyed about it.
Can I take this out?
Yeah, you can take it out. You're good. Yeah. I get a little bit annoyed with that video, and I just want to. And the reason I want to talk about that is because I want to talk a little bit about what it's like to be a nationalist kind of Jew, and how you can feel about things like this. Hold on 1 second. Let me just make sure that we are. I don't need that kind of tracking. Malkah, so what did you think of that video?
I thought it was nice. It's sweet that these athletes wanted to come and to show support and to learn and to go on like a humanitarian outing.
And pro-Israel.
Pro-Israel, sweet, trying to be supportive and listening.
And they're also highlighting the plight of the hostages, what happened October 7th. But I just want you to know, Malkah, there's a part of me that really doesn't want that kind of stuff. I just wish we would destroy the bad guys. I just wish we would.
What does that have to do with these sports people? So they're just here to show their support from America.
They're good folks. They're 100% good folks, and it's a good initiative, no doubt. But what bothers me is that I just don't want it to be that he said a phrase that phrase said everything to me. Okay, that phrase was. So, what do you think of that video, Malkah?
I thought it was sweet. It's very, very nice that people want to come from the outside, and these people, who have a good name in the sports community, they came and they wanted to show support for families of hostages, and they wanted to show support for the Druze community. I think that's very beautiful. Yeah,
absolutely. He said Arab, but he meant Druze community. I agree with you. Very beautiful initiative. And I'm also glad that they've highlighting the plight of the hostages and what happened on October 7th. But there was one thing that he said there that bothered me to no end.
Okay.
He said, I feel a special relationship to this because my mother was called in to document the atrocities of the Holocaust.
That bothered you? I thought that was one of the nicest parts.
In my outlook on Israel, we're supposed to be a post-Holocaust people. We're supposed to be basically a never again people. Like, we don't let that happen again. We don't need like somebody from the world to come and document the tragedy.
But it happened.
Yes, it happened because we were not behaving as a liberated, strong Middle Eastern people with historical, godly, legal rights to this land, war rights to this land. And because of that, because we gave away our land, then we shrank. Then we got these tragedies and these horrors. And now we have these people coming and identifying with our horrors. That's not where we're supposed to be at. We're supposed to be at a place where we don't allow the Jewish state with its F-35s and its return to the land of Israel after the Holocaust is not supposed to allow things like this to happen again. We're not supposed to get into that mode again. And that's why I have such a hard time with the whole hostages discourse, because it's what we call in Israel galuti. It's part of an exilic diaspora way of thinking, a weak Jew way of thinking. I don't think that we should be negotiating with anybody. I think we should be destroying the people who would be the would-be negotiators with us. And again, I see it as with love, those athletes, but I rather that they came here and said, wow, Israel's a really strong state. It really knows how to protect itself and the people of this region. If it wasn't for Israel,
I don't think people don't say that. I think that people say that very, very much. I think that if you ask people right now in the comments, how do you view Israel? You're watching this show. How do you view Israel? Put it in the comments. I think that what you're going to see is that people are going to say that Israel is a miraculous nation, which rose up from the ashes, which has faced every single kind of horror and injustice and abuse, and has come out of that to be more victorious than anyone could ever dream. Baruch Hashem. That's probably what most people are going to say. And that's true. And that is what probably these sports guys are also thinking to themselves. They probably see their mission as a mission which is a lot based on people and compassion. So they're not focusing on like Israel Military Industries and how great that is and how rock star the soldiers are. They're thinking to themselves that they're coming to show support, to show sympathy.
Yeah. I get it. And I respect them for it.
Yes.
I respect them for it. I just don't want to be in that position.
All right. But you're in that position. You're in that position. You're in that position.
But this way of thinking, this talking about, for example, bring them home. Who's the bring them home?
All right. That is a bad slogan.
Who is to
that
bring
is a
them
bad
home?
Slogan.
You know what I mean? Why don't we say, we shall bring them home. God will bring them home. Will give us strength. Or how about kick their ass, the bad guys? Okay.
Right.
I just
there
need to say
there is a divide between the camp of Israel as to what is the priority. There are some people in Israel who have taken on the idea that the priority is the hostages and that the war is utterly and totally centered around the people who were taken.
Right.
They want those people back. And that to them is the victory. If you get the people back, you have won.
Right. And I think that is a weak doctrine.
And you are not in that camp.
Right.
You are in the other camp.
Yeah. I want the land and I want to make sure that it could never happen again.
Right.
And certainly giving terrorists away to the terrorists will ensure that it happens again.
Right. You are in the camp of people who say the hostages are so important, but they are not the most important. The most important is the fact that Israel was invaded on October 7th with an army of people and its like amateur army of civilians who came in with them. And holy cow, we can never see anything like this again. And anyone who would even dream of it should be crushed.
Right.
And the hostages are something that we should rip out of their trembling hands of the people who stole them from us. And we should never be pitied for anything, that we should be awe-inspiring. And I think that, Yishai, we are both, right? I think that in the end of the day, you and I, we feel that the primary objective is to win the war for the land of Israel, for the future, for the 1,000 years to come, right? And that the fact that these people were taken is horrific, and we should do everything, much more than what we are doing, to make it so that the people who have our brothers and sisters in their possession throw them back at us, begging that we take our hostages back so that we'll stop whatever it is that we're doing to them. That's the side
I would
that
make
we're
it.
on.
I would even make it less dramatic, and I would just say we have to control that landmass. We have to control the forces of jihadism. We have to be a bigger Israel, because a bigger Israel is a safer Israel, and it's safer for the peoples of this whole region.
A bigger Israel is a safer Middle East.
That's right. Exactly right. Okay, Malkah, one more segment together with you. I'll ask you to don your headphones back in. Okay, take your headphone. All right. And let's watch our good friend, Shmuel Goldman.
Oh, great.
From the north of Israel, as he explains about his amazing, him and his wife Batsheva's amazing restaurant.
Okay.
Hi guys, this video is dedicated for the complete and speedy recovery of our good friend Yishai Fleischer. I'm standing here in front of our Beit Cafe called Makom Yefeh Cafe, which my wife and I took over exactly 1 month before the war began, about 1 year and 4 months ago. Since then, we've had a lot of ups and downs with the business, but it's been quite an experience running it here in the north of Israel. We're exactly on the border between the Upper Galilee and the Lower Galilee. I'm looking at Tzfat and over there, and Carmiel over there, and we're exactly at the crossroads of north, south, east, west. And it's a great place for tourists to come, for locals to come, a great place for a breakfast. And the reason that I'm making this video is to show everybody what it's like here in the north, especially to run a business here. We've been blessed, especially since the war began, to be serving, come let's go inside, to be serving many, many soldiers and also many civilians. Come inside.
They speak into the
I'm hungry.
The famous pie.
I want it.
Many of our clientele come from all over the country, and we're proud to serve soldiers, to serve Jews, Druze, Christians, Muslims from all over the world, and they all come and feel very comfortable here. We're coming through.
Look at that.
That's the Sea of Galilee, the Kinneret.
Since the war began, most of our customers have been miluimnikim, reservists, who have been coming through, who are based up here in the north. And we've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reservists on their way to Lebanon, coming down from Lebanon, and sitting here with their units and being blessed to have a warm, hot meal provided by my wife, who makes all the food here. One of the major draw points, of course, is this incredible strategic view of the Golan,
Strategically relaxing.
the Sea of Galilee, and the Kinneret. And it's been a real adventure and a shlichut to be able to keep this business open for the past year or so. And we invite everybody to come and join us here at Makom Yafeh Cafe, Tzomad Kachal, in the north of Israel.
Awesome.
What a great video.
Great video.
Thank
I love
you very
that.
much,
Wow.
Shmuel. That was awesome.
We have eaten at this restaurant.
That's right.
Totally worth the visit. Okay, get the pie.
That's Malkah.
Get the pie.
That's the spirit of Israel.
Yeah.
That's a video about the spirit of Israel, and you saw them, different kinds of folks, Jews and other Gentiles, all kinds of folks living there, and the Sea of Galilee, this ancient place, and there's a war not far, but you could still get a delicious pie, and it's entrepreneurship and spirit and aliyah, immigration to the land of Israel, and making this land flourish and be successful. And it's the antidote to all the darkness that's being spilled out there. That's being, what's the word I'm looking for? Like.
I think you're saying it.
Like
Splattered.
Yeah, all the
Globbed.
darkness, all the
Yeah.
negativity, and that is, I think, what today's show is all about.
Right.
We take a licking, we keep on ticking, we keep fighting for the Jewish state to be reborn, to have deep roots in this land, to speak the Hebrew language, to make beautiful food, to make beautiful children, and it's awe-inspiring. And at the same time, we don't forget, with all that positivity, we don't forget all the self-sacrifice and the fallen and all the mistakes that the Jewish state has made and that we have to rectify at this time. Malkah?
Right. I mean, and God's help, that's what we're doing. If you're a person who's like a Bible reader, then you'll know that the Jewish people are always in a learning process. Always in a learning process. It would be real nice if we could get out of the learning process into the we have figured it out land. But we're working on it, and that's part of the story. And you're along for the ride. If you're out there watching, either you're on this journey with us for real, or you're right alongside. And we're totally gonna rock it.
That's right. Malkah, if you were inspired by Malkah's amazing words and you want to be part of our fight for Israel, then please support our fight for Israel and our many avenues of the fight for Israel at fightforisrael.org. Everything from beautification, reclamation, Torah teaching around the world. We're even involved in helping build a mikvah in India, for travelers, all kinds of stuff that we're part of. It's fightforisrael.org. And if you love our broadcast, check out buymeacoffee.com/Yishai to support the narrative war and the Overton window, which we are working on widening out and bringing more consciousness to what a big Israel, a strong Israel, the advantages of that, and of course, the advantage of faith and the belief in God and the belief in the Bible and the Torah.
Advantage of faith.
Yeah, the
It's
advantage
like,
of
how do
faith.
you even live today without faith? That's a major advantage.
That's right. It is
Yeah.
a major advantage. And the last advantage is, of course, being part of our programming here at Yishai Fleischer TV. Please subscribe, ring the little bell, do the thing.
Push the stuff.
Push a button.
Hit the thumbs up.
That's right. write a comment. And you could also write me an email to yishai@yishaifleischer.com. And that's my website, yishaifleischer.com. God bless you folks, wherever you are. Thank you very much, Malkah Fleischer, for helping us.
Thank you. Welcome back, Yishai. Isn't he looking good?
I'm
Tell
fighting.
Yishai in the comments how good he's looking. Tell him.
I'm doing my best to get back up there and be strong. And as we say, let my people grow. Let my people grow.
Yeah.
That's right. God bless you folks, wherever you are. Stay tuned. Stay calm. Stay part of the story. Stay a broadcaster of the story. More love, more blessings here on this channel and from the land of Israel and from Yerushalayim. God bless you wherever you are. And shalom.
Shalom.